Hello and welcome back to the Parent Series. Today I'm joined again by Marie Sawyer, Clinical Therapy Supervisor at Endeavor Health Behavioral Health in Plainfield.
Hi, my name is Marie Sawyer. I'm the supervisor of clinical therapy team at our Linden Oaks Plainfield outpatient. I'm so happy to be back for part 2 of this topic. If you are listening in to this topic for the first time, feel free to start with the first episode that we have about executive functioning. That episode is titled Understanding Executive Functioning, Brain Development, and Support Strategies, and we aired that on December 3rd, 2024. In that first episode, we defined executive function, reviewed in depth the different components that make up executive functioning in the brain, and discussed the relationship between brain development and executive functioning skills within our adolescents. Now, if you're already thinking to yourself, what is she talking about? Go ahead and listen to that first episode on this topic to grasp a foundational understanding of executive functioning, and then you can come back and hear me for part 2.
To start, what can parents do to support executive functioning skills at home?
As I discussed in the first episode, the part of the brain that's responsible for these skills, which is the prefrontal cortex, is one of the last areas of the brain to fully develop around 25 years old. This means that our teens aren't behind, their brain is really still under construction. It's important to know that for every human being, executive functioning dips during times of stress, fatigue, transitions in our life and everyday transitions, feeling overwhelmed, growth spurts, and large developmental shifts. So when your teen says, I can't start my homework, I can't clean my room, as parents, we often jump to assuming our teen is being defiant or disrespectful or maybe even lazy. When we can take into consideration the underlying challenges at play, we realize it might not actually be any of those things. It more likely may be a skill gap or hard moment that they're having when their brain isn't able to access the skill needed. The good news is that these skills can be strengthened at any age. So let's talk about what you can do today to foster the development of these skills in your child. Number 1 is using visual schedules or checklists. Adolescents rely heavily on visual cues, and visuals are actually often more effective than verbal instructions alone. Try a morning or after school routine or both, and post that where they can see it and access it every day. 2 is breaking tasks into smaller steps. Instead of saying overall, just clean your room, try instead one at a time. Pick up your clothes, put books on shelf, make your bed. We want to break tasks down into tiny steps to reduce overwhelm. And I am very aware that as a parent myself, I frequently contribute to my own child's executive functioning difficulties because if I'm not paying attention, I will give my child several instructions at once, and the instructions might even conflict with each other. She has no problem telling me, hey mom, I can't do all these things at once. Please slow down. I've also taught my kids to ask for clarification. So when we as parents miss the mark on providing clear direction, it's great to encourage your teen to ask you, hey, I'm confused. What is the priority here? What are you asking me to do first? This fosters closed loop communication between you and your child, so everyone is incredibly clear on what you're asking them to do. Number 3 is modeling your own planning out loud. Being able to say things like, okay, first I'm going to start the laundry, then I'm going to check my email, and then I'll make dinner. This shows kids how you think, and these are skills that they can mimic over time. Number 4 is create predictable routines. Kids feel safer and function better with consistency. Morning routine, afternoon and homework routine, bedtime routine. We want to set explicit household rules and expectations and make sure that they're reasonable. If your teen knows what is expected of them and what the consequences are if they don't follow those expectations, it is much easier for them to strengthen their skills to develop a routine and follow it. Number 5 is using time management supports. Timers, alarms, planners, calendars. These are not crutches, these are tools. Now, I know that when I or any other professional talk to parents about these tools, I often hear feedback that they don't work. What is most important of any of these tools that we implement as parents is that we are consistent with our approach. Do not start using a visual or create a brand new routine without fully committing to it, especially if it's something that you aren't sure that you can consistently follow through with. This leads to parents having their own challenges with executive functioning. So you want to have reasonable goals and expectations for your child, as well as yourself and what makes most sense for your family. When we scaffold these skills, meaning we provide a lot of support first and gradually fade out the amount of support we're providing, our teens' brains build lifelong habits.
Once parents start putting these strategies in place, how do they know when to step back and let their teens start handling things on their own?
First, I want to acknowledge how difficult it can be for parents to see their kids fail or struggle. It's totally normal to want to protect your child from failure, and failure is a normal part of life. A shared goal that every parent I've worked with has had is the desire for their child to grow into a successful and resilient human being. Resilience isn't fostered by removing every stressor from your kid's life. It's actually the opposite. To be able to build resilience, we have to allow our kids to experience discomfort and challenging situations, and to fail and accept failure as a step towards success and resiliency. So here's the trick. Focus on supporting the process, not the outcome. Starting with validation. Validation means acknowledging how your teen is feeling. This doesn't mean that we agree with the behavior or choice that our teen is making, but that we recognize that their emotions are valid and acceptable. Validating your teen can sound like, I can see how frustrating this is for you, or that sounds really hard, or it's normal to feel upset. After we've validated how they feel, then we can offer reasonable choices to tackle the problem, not avoid it. So this means stepping in early, step back slowly. Depending on how much your teen struggles with a specific task or issue, you may need to provide a lot of support initially, maybe even more support than you think is reasonable. But then as time goes on, slowly stepping back the amount of support you're providing, and that is increasing your child's ability and their capability to build resilience and independence on their own. An emotion regulation skill, which I'll talk about in a moment, one that we teach in our program is stop, think, act. So when you feel an emotional reaction to something, you want to stop yourself from making an impulsive decision, think about what you're going to do and what will happen if you make that choice. And once you've reviewed your choices, act using the most effective and healthy choice for that moment. I love this skill because it's helpful for teens and adults. Parents can model this skill when you feel frustrated with your teen and pause to decide how best to respond to your teen, especially during conflict or tense situations. Modeling this skill helps your teen practice resiliency in that moment as well. Help your teen practice sending emails to teachers, asking others for clarification, and advocating for their needs even if they don't get the answer that they were hoping for.
How does stress play a role in this?
When we're talking about building resiliency and fostering independence for our teens, we also need to recognize that stress management also plays a huge role in executive functioning. Our kids cannot plan, regulate, or focus when they're dysregulated. Ideally, parents are working with their teens to develop what we call cope ahead plans. Really, this just means preparing for moments or days that we anticipate will be difficult and having a plan of how to cope with that leading up to and in that moment. For example, many parents tell me that they dread school mornings because their teen has difficulty waking up, getting ready, being on time, and it throws the whole family's dynamic off in the morning. Some strategies that families can implement into their own cope ahead plans for a situation like this could be good sleep hygiene, movement breaks, simple grounding exercises, predictable downtime. Yes, so that means rest, which rest is a skill, especially on school days or weekends when you have a jam-packed schedule. We want to be able to have predictable downtime for our teens. Building in breaks during homework, chores, or any tasks that are frustrating or difficult. And lastly, strength skill. We love acronyms in the therapy world. STRENGTH is an acronym that stands for sleep, take care of self, resist urges, exercise, nutrition, build mastery, time for yourself, and healthy self-talk. When your teen can use the strength skill consistently, they will be set up for success to manage stress more effectively and increase their executive functioning skills. Stress shrinks executive functioning. Calm grows it. Emotion regulation is a huge part of executive functioning. If a child is overwhelmed, embarrassed, worried, or angry, the thinking part of the brain goes offline and makes it difficult for them to think logically and make good choices. This is the moment when parents often have great difficulty navigating. The emotions and behaviors that you're witnessing from your kid in these moments may feel manipulative, dramatic, irrational. What you're witnessing is emotional dysregulation. This is your teen having a hard time controlling their emotions. Sometimes the emotion reaction is huge and feels so disproportionate to the situation. Emotional dysregulation can look like mood swings, intense emotional reactions, impulsivity such as yelling or unsafe behaviors, persistent irritability, and difficulty calming down.
What does it look like when a teen is struggling to regulate their emotions, and what can parents do to support them?
Number one is name it to tame it. Labeling emotions decreases emotional intensity. Being able to say, I'm frustrated, or I'm sad, I feel worried, helps take some of the power of that intense emotion away and also normalizes the experience of having difficult emotions, which helps your teen feel less alone in the moment. Number 2 is visual emotion scales. Color-coded charts help kids practice being more aware of their feelings so they can more effectively communicate how they feel and ask for what they need in the moment to help them regulate. Number 3 is teaching coping skills, such as deep breathing, grounding skills such as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, journaling or drawing, which is what we call healthy distractions, taking space or taking a break. It is healthy to take breaks as a family when conflict arises or if your teen is feeling dysregulated. Breaks should be time limited and always be followed up with a debriefing conversation. We want to identify what we can do next time to manage our feelings. How can parents better support their teen in that moment moving forward? Recognizing opportunities for improved communication. Do we need to apologize or take ownership of our poor choices in that moment? It's so crucial to be able to debrief after any kind of conflict or big emotion. Number 4 is co-regulation. Co-regulation, which is a process where the supportive person, in this case, the parent, is helping their child learn how to manage their emotions effectively. This starts with you, the parent, remaining calm and steady in moments when your teen is not, is absolutely the opposite. And the parent is, in that moment, remaining calm again and providing comfort, validation, and modeling appropriate emotional responses so your child can start to mirror your calm. When I'm working with families, this is one of the most crucial pieces that I emphasize to parents that will absolutely change their family dynamics and minimize conflict and stress at home. We cannot expect our teens to be able to effectively and safely regulate their emotions if we aren't able to as parents ourselves, and we're not modeling that to our teens.
What do you say to parents whose teens always wait until the last minute to get things done?
My answer is often address it with your teen without judgment. Ask them what they think is the barrier that leads to the procrastination and develop a cope ahead plan together. For example, with school projects, break those projects into micro steps and schedule each step. Teens often procrastinate from feeling overwhelmed, not from laziness. Parents also ask me, how do I support my child when I struggle with these skills myself? Which is a very valid question. And my answer would be to build these systems together, shared calendars, shared routines, shared checklists, both of you practicing emotion regulation together. You're modeling growth, not perfection. Executive functioning is the brain's management system, and it's still developing throughout adolescence into early 20s. Kids need support, structure, and coaching, not criticism or judgment. Routines, checklists, and breaking down tasks work wonders when we are consistent. Independence grows when we scaffold and step back slowly. And emotional regulation is a foundation for all learning. Remember, your child will not master these skills overnight. Small, consistent steps build resilient, capable thinkers.
Thank you so much for joining us, Marie. For more information and resources, visit the link in the description. Thanks for listening, and see you next month.